Russell Wilson just got the biggest win of his Broncos career of recent, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were coming into this game looking like the team that could maybe repeat as Super Bowl champions. That is still definitely on the table for the Chiefs. I'm not going to overreact to a loss. I actually predicted, I said on Twitter that the Chiefs were going to lose this game. A lot of people thought, you're crazy. And boom, smart people reveal their true colors because I was right about this game. But needless to say, everyone's kind of bailed on Russell Wilson and the Broncos, and rightfully so, because last year they were one of the worst teams in the entire National Football League, and at the forefront of it was Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson and the Broncos offense, they were not fun to watch. It was kind of a shit show, it wasn't, they didn't do anything particularly well last year. And this year, they kind of start off, looking the part on offense, but the defense isn't really clicking. You thought Sean Payton would come in and immediately turn things around. The Broncos got off to a really, really rocky start. However, let me just say this right now. Russell Wilson goes out there this past week, outplays Patrick Mahomes, and gets a much-needed victory up to this point in his Broncos career. Russell Wilson has earned the benefit of the doubt from general NFL fans. And let me tell you why. First of all, Russell Wilson's 10-year career in Seattle, you could argue it was a Hall of Fame resume. I mean, over 300 touchdowns, he won over 65% of his games, got to multiple Super Bowls, won Seattle a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, when he was going right with the Seattle Seahawks, he was one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the sport, consistently a top 10 quarterback in his prime. Now, I'm not ever sure Russell Wilson is going to get back to his Seattle Seahawks days because he's kind of getting up there in age. We see that he's not quite as athletic as he once used to be. Doesn't seem like he wants to run around as much. The arm isn't quite as dynamic as it used to be about 5 years ago. But Russell Wilson is one of those types of players that has accomplished so much in the National Football League. A guy that I have so much respect for. He's capable of these type of performances where he may not be the same player that he once was a couple of years ago, but on any given Sunday, Russell Wilson, he can be the star of the show on your television screen and on the football field. Russell Wilson is capable of having one of these games where he looks the part and outplays Patrick Mahomes. So look, I understand this whole Russell Wilson era in Denver has not gotten off to a great start, but if anyone deserves a little bit more patience, a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, maybe this doesn't start off the way we thought it would, but it could progressively get better. What if the Broncos somehow squeak into the playoffs this year? And then the very next year, maybe they challenge for the division. Maybe they win a playoff game. And who knows what could happen from that point forward. All I'm saying is, look, if you've already bailed on Russell Wilson and the Broncos, I get it. Because it hasn't been what it's built up to be. It wasn't this Super Bowl contending team right out the gate. A lot of people thought this is an instant Super Bowl contender. And I think that they failed to realize that the Broncos roster had some holes. They needed a new head coach. And I even thought, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, 2 different personalities. How will this clash? Will it be good? Will it be bad? Sean Payton is kind of a guy that, really is very vocal, kind of a loud guy, intense, a nice guy on the inside surface, but he can be intense, and he doesn't like losing. He really takes losing to heart. Meanwhile, you got Russell Wilson, not to say he likes to lose, but Russell's more calm, optimistic, saying, okay, if we lose this week, we can take away what we learned from this week, we'll get them next time. These are 2 totally different personalities that we're talking about, and head coach and quarterback, it's a very important relationship within your football team. It's the ultimate relationship, because those are the 2 main chefs that have to put together the ingredients. The head coach has to put together the plays, get guys motivated. The quarterback has to be his right hand to help execute those plays. So all I'm saying is, have we bailed on Russell Wilson and the Broncos a little bit too early? I'm willing to let this play out. I'm not bailing on Russell. I'm not advocating for Russell because, listen, we could talk about, Russell, if you actually look at the statistics, he's outplayed Patrick Mahomes this season. The touchdown to interception ratio, I believe the completion percentage is even better, but that's neither here nor there. We all know that statistics aren't everything when it comes to football. I will say, though, Mahomes has a great defense this season. Russell Wilson has not, but this is not a Mahomes Russell Wilson comparison. All I'm saying is, let's just see how this plays out, because could Russell and the Broncos turn things around? I mean, am I crazy to think that a potential Hall of Fame quarterback that's won a Super Bowl could turn things around with a pretty decent supporting cast and a potential Hall of Fame coach in Sean Payton? Look, I know they play in the Chiefs division, but I think we kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. So look, all I'm saying is, let's see how things play out with the Broncos and Russell Wilson. Maybe give them a little bit more patience. I understand Russell's being paid all the big bucks. I understand Sean Payton is coming in and you expect results right away. But sometimes you gotta let the cookies bake for about 10 to 15 more minutes, and then you'll see what the end result is. Maybe it's a bomb cookie that's ooey gooey and delicious, or maybe you just burnt the whole pan. All I'm saying is, let's give Russell Wilson the benefit of the doubt. Russell Wilson, if anybody in the National Football League, deserves the benefit of the doubt because he's earned it. He's got a potential Hall of Fame resume. I mean, outside of Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes, maybe Matthew Stafford. Like, what veteran quarterback in the National Football League has accomplished more than Russell Wilson? You can't find that guy. Tom Brady's retired. So let's just see how this experiment in Denver plays out. I'm very, very interested to see what things look like going forward for Russell Wilson and the Broncos. And I'm rooting for Russell Wilson because I do think that he's genuinely a great human being. And when he was in his prime in Seattle, he was a darn good quarterback. And I hope that he can potentially, get some of that juice going again, in Denver, and maybe start to win more football games going forward. Because Russell, it seems like he's a great guy, but only time will tell.